Hi.
Hi.
Well, we wanted to do a vlog to catch people up on James's progress from his back injury, and then talk about the Ironman, and then to kind of discuss our time in Bali and what we're planning to do while we're here. The last time we did a video, James was, I think, like a week or 2 weeks post back break. So why don't we just start by doing a little summary of the last month, maybe?
Sure. So about 5 weeks ago, as most of you guys already know, fell off my bike, hurt myself, was unsure of whether I'd be able to do the Ironman or not. I had to pull out of the Open, couldn't go to Dublin to compete there. But after a couple of weeks, I started being able to run and swim, and I got back on the bike pretty fast. And still went ahead, couldn't let the rest of the guys do the Ironman without me, so ended up competing, having a blast. Got through the Ironman in 10 hours and 14 minutes. It was super fun. I had such a good time doing it with everyone, going around the course. And because it was looped in laps, you would come past some friends from time to time, like maybe every half an hour or so, you would see someone on the course and you'd be able to say hello. So that really helped. But in terms of, and I think it's going to be in some of these questions, I think a lot of you are asking like how much time I spent training leading up to that. And basically I probably spent, prior to hurting myself, I was doing approximately maybe 15 to 18 hours of CrossFit training in a week. And I was doing maybe 6 or 7 triathlon hours, so just swim, bike, run stuff in a mixed variation of that. So maybe an hour or so of pool work, maybe 2 to 3 hours of riding in a week, and then maybe an hour or 2 of running. And that's kind of what I was doing, just getting some time on the legs, some time on the bike, and some time in the water. It was really my only goal at that particular time. And then after I hurt myself, I couldn't lift weights, so I just basically spent more time on the bike. I probably roughly did anywhere from, say, 7 to 10 hours in a week, give or take. I was maybe getting, 1 to 2 hours in the pool. In the couple of weeks leading in, I was maybe getting an hour to 2, sometimes maybe 3 running, and then maybe getting, 3 to 5 on the bike, maybe split up into 1 or 2 sessions in the weeks leading in. And I think that helped me prepare really well. Like, I felt really good, to be honest. I was, I felt strong in each of the legs. I was really shooting for sub 10, knowing that it was within grasp after the bike leg. But I just couldn't hold on for the run, which was unfortunate. But I think if I was to, say, do more than 10 hours of tri training, I think it'd be doable for sure, and probably even a lot better. But at the moment, priorities, like, I'm training for CrossFit now, and I'll probably just slip in the things that I really enjoy, which is, I still love swim, bike, run, and I'll just add them in just around my training to help put a smile on my face when training gets tough.
So yesterday we did a Instagram Ask Me Anything, so there's 6 questions that have come through, so I'm just going to try and categorize them into the main questions that have been asked and things that I think that you could address. Jono Can Tryfit says, what was your nutrition strategy through the Ironman? Was it spaced by miles or time?
That was actually spaced by time. So my nutrition strategy going in was, on the bike I would be hydrating every 10 to 15 minutes, and then I would be eating something, whether it was a bar or a gel, or a banana or half a banana, every 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes I was having some calories.
Cool.
And I probably went through roughly, I'd say, 10 to 12 bottles of fluid on the bike itself.
Any tips for relaxing and controlling breathing whilst swimming? Thanks. Josh Bingham.
To be honest, I think the best thing to do for that, well, there's kind of 2 things, is get in the pool and get time in the pool, and you'll become more relaxed. So, it just takes time.
And I think practice open water swimming as well.
Yeah, it just takes time. You need to put yourself in that scenario, and the longer you do it, the better you get at calming yourself down. But also practicing your breath work outside of the pool will help your stuff in the pool. So learning how to control your breath outside of the pool before you jump in the pool will make the pool work easier. But in saying that, if you want to get better and be more relaxed in the open ocean with, 1,000 other people kicking and splashing around you and grabbing onto you, the only way to do that is to put yourself in that scenario and just become okay with it, and just take your time and just, center yourself a little bit and focus on your stroke, focus on your breath, and focus on technique, and then, stressing about everything else that's going on, the external factors that tends to stress you out. So less focus on that, more focus on yourself and technique, and that should calm you down.
Marty Arthur, how did having your bike crash 5 weeks back affect your mental game going into the Ironman?
So to be honest, I think what it did was it probably took a few things off my plate. I wasn't able to lift weights in the lead up for the 5 weeks leading into the Ironman, so it probably actually decreased my stress of trying to get everything done. And at the end of the day, I think most things kind of happen, and you kind of have the option to make good, like positive, out of potentially a negative situation. And I kind of tried to do that as much as I could, and it made me feel good at the end of the day. Being able to bounce back fast, get back into training, lessen my focus around CrossFit for the time being, and focus on getting the Ironman done, which does make me happy at the end of the day. So mentally I was like probably, somewhat maybe more prepared, because all I did in the weeks leading in was those 3 modalities, and it kind of worked out really well. I felt comfortable throughout, and like I was in no pain whatsoever, just heavy legs, but it didn't really affect me thinking I can't do it because of my back or because of my lungs or whatever. So that didn't affect me. So it's probably, if anything, it took more off my plate and probably made me attack it better. Did anything surprise you on the bike? Probably the only thing that surprised me on the bike was how fast some of the guys were going past me, and girls. Are you feeling healthy again? Yes, I feel super healthy. I feel weak. I don't feel like I'd lift very heavy weights, but I feel healthy. What helped you mentally finish strong? Probably the best thing was having the cheer squad on the side, all the partners of the people that were racing, and all of the suicide squad that partook in either the 70.3 and the long course. They helped me every time I saw them coming around the course. We would wave and say keep going, and that kind of motivated you to get it done, and not drop out or not have negative thoughts. Is a 5.5 hour Ironman with a muscular body possible? Yes, 100%. Sub 5 is possible with a heavy muscular body. How much protein do I have every day? I roughly have about 2 grams per kilo of body weight, which is approximately 160 to 170 grams per day. What do you look for when buying plant-based protein? Basically, if you're looking for plant-based protein, a really good one, ATP Science make a vegan amino protein, which is basically built from plants. It's built from Irish moss and alfalfa sprouts. It also has collagen. It's a collagen-based amino protein. It also has hydroxyproline, which you won't find in other plant-based proteins as well. So look for that, collagen, hydroxyproline. Any tips for recovering when sleep is messed up due to working shifts? Yeah, totally. I have a recovery protocol called Working In through Ultra Instinct, so you can follow that. It's free, doesn't cost anything.
If you go to the link in your bio,
yes, go to the link in my bio.
It's to our website, the Ultra Instinct website. If you go to sign up and click Working In, it will take you through all the links to get access to the free program.
Yeah, so if you want to recover, if your sleep is messed up from shift, go to the link in my bio. How would you compare your recovery from the Ironman to the CrossFit Games? I was probably much worse in terms of pain-wise immediately after the Ironman than I was immediately after the Games. In years previous, I've been pretty sore at the CrossFit Games. This year, I wasn't too bad. What was your initial pacing strategy for the bike and the run, and were you able to stick to it? Yeah, I was hoping to hold 120 watts for the bike, and I did that. And then I was hoping to hold around 5.5-minute kilometers for the run, and I was pretty close. Ended up holding 5:43. Hey mate, I'm 136 kilos. What sort of running program would you recommend to increase the kilometers? For someone looking to get into a running program and how to increase the kilometers, I would start by walking. Try and walk. Start walking. Maybe a kilometer, and then if that's tough and you find that that's testing, stay at a kilometer until it becomes easier, and then bump it up to 1,500 meters, then 2 kilometers, and then 3 kilometers, and then when you feel like you can, maybe try and jog 100 meters and then walk 900 meters.
Yeah, you can also do things like a minute on, a minute off.
Totally.
Switch between the running and walking. Slowly increase the running proponents until you can run for an extended period of time, and then start to increase the distances. So small steps.
Yeah. How was I able to recover from my accident as fast as I did? Pretty much as soon as I finished my accident, I looked at it as a bit of a challenge to see how fast I could get the back and the lungs and the ribs to recover. Such
an athlete mindset.
And basically, all I did was I made sure I slept a lot. I was sleeping 12 to 14 hours a day. I was doing basically my working in program intensified. So I was making sure I was doing all the right things. I was earthing, I was getting sunlight, I was getting in the ocean, I was getting in the float tank, I was having saunas, I was doing cold showers, I was doing breath work, trying to alkalize my system as much as possible. I was moving, I was doing ROMWOD, I was stretching. All the things that that you kind of should do when you're doing a recovery protocol, I was just making sure I was diligent in doing them. And then after I finished sleeping, I wasn't just lying in bed for the hell of it. I was getting up and I was getting on the trainer and I was moving my body, not to the point of it hurting, but just to keep the body flowing. And yeah, I was just really intensifying all of that type of stuff. What was the hardest leg? The marathon was the hardest. Have I done a marathon before? Yes, I'd done a marathon for fun during training. And yeah.
Nobody ever.
It was, it kind of felt the same. And it was around the same time as well. Any tips for balancing cycling, running and CrossFit? Probably the best thing I can say is play it by feel. If you want to go and do a CrossFit session one day and then do some swimming and biking the next day, it's completely fine. Play it by feel. You need to get really in tune with how you feel, rather than sticking to a really hard set routine. I mean, like, this is what I have to do, even though you feel like it's actually being more of a detriment. You have to become a little bit more in tune with your own body. That's probably the best thing I can recommend. Ironman versus CrossFit Games for pain, cave / difficulty. Much of a muchness, really. The CrossFit Games, that was like a day upon day upon day of trying to keep yourself mentally with it. Going into the pain cave for 6 minutes really intensely, and then going into the pain cave for 10 hours at a moderate pace. It's hard to pick one or the other. I would say they're on par. How often do you train per day, and how long are your sessions? When I'm getting ready for the CrossFit Games, I'm probably averagely training, and I love training, but I also love recovery too. So combining those two together, I could be training for 5, 6 or 7 hours a day. That's not every day. It's not 7 days a week. That might be like 4 to 5 days a week, and the other 2 days are, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours, and then the other day might be a complete rest day. Best tip for swimming training for your first triathlon in 2020: join a swimming club. Best thing I can recommend: go join a swimming club, jump in the slow lane, and start getting pushed a little bit more, and have a coach there telling you what to do instead of just rocking up to the pool and making up a 1,000-meter set. Go to a swimming club, get them to set the plan for you, and jump in the pool and hit at least 2 kilometers each time you jump in the pool. You'll get better and better as you go.
And then I think the last one is probably just what's next. A couple of people said, are you going to go for a sub-10 Ironman? But I think also talking about what's next in terms of the season for you.
Yeah,
that you know of.
So for me, next thing on the cards is I want to train. I'm going to be training up for a sanctional event. I'm not sure which one it is yet, but I'll be training for a sanctioned event to make it back to the CrossFit Games. Making it back to the Games is a huge priority, and it's going to be my, basically sole focus in terms of fitness in the near future. But yes, I will 100% do another Ironman. I'll definitely do more 70.3s. I've done one 70.3 now, one full Ironman, 2 sprint triathlons, and that's pretty much the full extent of my triathlon events. So I've done 4 now, and I definitely will do more, and definitely will go try and hit a sub 10 full Ironman in the future. Not sure when, but I will probably do another one next year at some point. And I definitely will do a couple of 70.3s as well. And I think the 70.3 distance, ties into what I'm doing with CrossFit anyway. It doesn't distract me. I know if I was just to train CrossFit, I'd be able to go out and do a 70.3 no problem, and probably come in under 5 hours. I think that's the gift of CrossFit, is we do so much stuff that you can make it happen if you set your mind to it. Get out on the bike once a week, get in the pool once a week, and get out for a run once a week. You could go and do a 70.3 and probably do it reasonably fast. But yeah, in terms of what's coming up, go to a sanctioned event, win a sanctioned event, go to the games,
win the games,
and then try and win the games, and then get the Suicide Squad back together for another hit out somewhere around the world, whether it's in Australia or overseas. Who knows? Whatever comes next, we'll decide as a group and have a crack. And when Kayla can make it out to an event, I'll go do that one with her as well, and we'll hit a half Ironman together.
Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't follow me on Instagram, I didn't do the half Ironman. So the day before, I started to get, actually 2 days before, I started to get a little bit of a tickle in my throat, and kind of started to get a little bit of a cough. And then the day before the Ironman, I got hit pretty badly with what I think is a virus. My body was aching, and the cough had kind of come in full force, and I was just feeling really flat. And I made the call not to do the Ironman with my coach, given that it was going to be such a huge feat for me and something that was going to be already challenging. We kind of made the decision that it would have been extremely painful and uncomfortable to have done it in the state that I was. I was not feeling very well at all, so it was not really worth the risk of possibly making myself even more sick and putting my body through more stress than it was already going through. I think that was the right decision, because it's Thursday morning now and I still am dealing with the effects of the virus and the cold. It's kind of dried up a little bit now and is very chesty, so I've got a cough. But yeah, I think it's probably the result of the flight on the Wednesday and a really long day, and perhaps being a little bit run down and having quite a full-on couple of weeks leading up. But anyway, that's life, that's fine. I made the call because there's so many other half Ironman events that I can do, so I'm just trying to figure out what one I want to do next. But yeah, that's kind of my summary from the weekend. And then tomorrow we're heading off to Ubud. And we're super excited because we're going to be doing a retreat with Natural Instincts Healing. So we're going to be doing a fasting retreat for 7 days. This is going to be pretty much the final stage of James's healing, really, with his back. And then also just an opportunity for both of us to switch off, detox, relax, and give back to our bodies.
100%. I've been waiting to do this since 2013.
When I did it the first time.
When Kayla did a 10-day fast and said it was the most amazing experience ever, and I've just been like, I really want to give that a go, but I've never had time really to set aside a week of no training.
Yeah.
And I was always really scared that I'd get super weak, but I haven't lifted weights in 5 weeks anyway, so I'm already super weak. So
look at these noodle arms.
Doing another week is no different, but this is just another experience, just kind of like the Ironman. We did it for experience and did it for the fun of doing something different. So I think this fasting retreat is going to be another experience that we get to do together. We get to, really cleanse ourselves as much as possible, and then, revitalize ourselves before we get stuck into another big year in 2020. So this is
a good reset.
It's a really good reset, and I'm excited. Everything that Natural Instincts Healing has pieced together for the week is so aligned with what we like to do anyway. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.